Hi friends, I am excited to talk with you today about how eating when you're hungry is the best self-care move you can make this year. So it sounds really simple, right? Just eat when you're hungry, but a lot of us don't do that. A lot of us don't even know what hunger feels like in our bodies, and we wait till it's too late and we're ravenous. And so let's talk about how honoring your hunger is an essential step toward making peace with food and your body. It will be impossible to make total peace with food and your body if you are not in the practice of honoring your hunger. So I personally used to go a long time, for a lot of years, I didn't honor my hunger because when I was hungry, it meant that I had to eat, but eating was so stressful. I had so much fear around food because when I would eat, I was always thinking about how the food I was eating was going to affect my weight. There was a lot of food guilt, a lot of shame. So eating was really stressful. And so when I noticed my hunger, if my stomach started growling or if I started to get hangry or irritable, it was like a battle. I was like, hunger was the enemy. Because I was like, I don't want to eat. Eating was like a battleground. I was like, truly, it felt like I was in a prison. Like I couldn't win because I was like, I have to eat to stay alive, but eating is stressing me out. I had so much confusion around food. I was like, what's the best way for me to be feeding myself? There are so many different diets, so many different nutritionists that say all of these different things. And ultimately, what I needed to do was understand the value in at least step one, eating when I was hungry. So there are 5 really valuable reasons, 5 just amazing kind of things that will happen if you just eat when you're hungry. So I'm really excited to share with you these 5 reasons why I would love for you guys this week to start practicing eating when you're hungry. So as a general disclaimer, this is not a replacement. If you have a clinical eating disorder, this is not a replacement for treatment or for therapy. So please get the individualized attention that you deserve if you are concerned that you might have an eating disorder. This is general advice and just information that is within my scope of practice as a certified counselor and coach. So number 1, eating when we're hungry helps us to prevent binge eating. It helps us to prevent overeating. Binge eating is just a very normal, a natural biological response to deprivation. So if I'm not eating when I'm hungry, I'm depriving myself. If I wait a really long time to eat, then my body is going to pump out the neurotransmitters and the hormones that cause cravings that drive me to eat until I feel like I'm out of control around food because my primal hunger is taking over at that point. I'm ravenous. So if I just eat when I'm hungry, then I'm never going to get to the point of needing to overeat, of not feeling like I can ever satisfy myself. I'm not going to get to the point where I'm binge eating because my body is consistently nourished. My cells have what they need. Okay? So if you want to think about like, how can I cure my binge eating? How can I remove chronic overeating? We have to start with honoring our hunger. So when we notice that we are hungry, it's really important that we take that as a helpful signal, as a helpful sign from our body that one of its basic needs is not being met at the moment. So am I willing to meet my body's basic needs? Do I respect my body enough to give it what it needs? So that takes me to point number 2, body trust and body respect leading to a better body image. So let's talk about body trust. If I am willing to honor my hunger, it's because I trust that my body is giving me a sign and a signal that is helpful. It's giving me a sign that it needs something. My body wants to be in relationship with me. My body's not out to get me. So I'm building trust with my body every time I honor my hunger because I'm sending my body the message that, hey, there's no famine. I'm not dieting. There's no food scarcity. Food is here. Food is available. And I respect you, body. I want you to feel good physically. I want you to be able to perform well mentally. And so I am going to honor you by feeding you. And so that takes me to body respect as well. If I respect my body enough to meet the basic need that is food, then I'm gonna honor my hunger. I'm gonna say, okay, this stomach gurgling or growling, this headache, this lightheadedness, this anxiety could be a sign that I need to eat, okay? My lack of focus, inability to concentrate, intense food cravings. These are all signs that maybe it's time for me to nourish myself. And the body respectful choice is to do that. It's to notice the sign and the signal, to have what we call interoceptive awareness, which is picking up on body cues, and then a willingness to respond to them. Feed yourself when you notice the hunger, okay? How can this lead to a better body image? Well, if I have body respect and if I trust my body, if I'm in relationship with my body and I'm not at war with my body, then it's so much easier for me to view my body from a place of reverence and be like, wow, my body has been through a lot and it supports me in amazing ways every single day. And it's hard to have a terrible negative body image when you come from this place of genuine reverence and awe for the human body. I mean, even just the fact that like our bodies can give us signs and signals that they need food, like, is a miracle. Like, they can communicate with us. It's crazy. And from that standpoint, it's gonna make it a lot easier to improve our overall body image because we're coming from a place of respect, okay? And then eventually we can get to a place of actual self-love. But if we can at least start with respect, that's key. And I see Tanya's on here. Hi, Tanya. Tanya is a client of mine, and we've had a lot of conversations around this, around how like we respect people we might not agree with or like might not even like, but we can show them respect. And so why can't we do that for ourselves, right? If I am a person who values other people respecting me, and if I respect other people, then like it has to start from within, right? I have to be willing to also like respect myself and respect my body. So better body image awaits you, and it starts with honoring your hunger. Number 3, increasing resting metabolic rate. So honoring your hunger can actually increase your metabolism. What happens when I don't honor my hunger? So if I wait a long time to eat, if I delay eating for as long as possible, if I notice I'm hungry and I ignore it, then my body is getting the message that food is not available. I'm sending my body the message that we are in a famine, that there is food scarcity. And so what my body's gonna do then is conserve every single calorie it's ever had. It's not gonna release fat weight. It's gonna slow metabolism. It's actually gonna start to eat away at your muscle because it doesn't have energy that it needs through food. So it literally starts to cannibalize itself. This happens a lot when we don't eat carbohydrates. Your body will start to literally eat away at itself, okay? And it's funny because this is the opposite of what we want when we are restricting food for the purpose of weight loss. So by eating when you're hungry, you're actually going to be increasing your metabolism. And then it would stand to reason that when your metabolism is higher, you can release if you're above your weight set point. So if you're above the weight that's biologically ideal for your body, then what's going to allow you to get to a weight that is healthy for you, that is biologically ideal, is to eat consistently, eat when you're hungry, and not restrict your food and not diet, okay? So I'm always very careful when I talk about weight. I think it's really important that we acknowledge that weight does not equal health. So I can exist in a small body and have disease and disorder in the same way I could exist in a large body and be perfectly healthy and fit, okay? So that's my disclaimer there. I'm not saying that the goal needs to be weight loss. What we're talking about here is making peace with food and making peace with your body, and then what are gonna be like just the natural logical byproducts of that. So we talked earlier a little bit about cravings. When you don't eat when you're hungry, when you restrict food, your brain will literally pump out neurotransmitters and hormones that say, feed me. Because again, like our bodies are really, really smart, and they're gonna do what they need to do in one way or another to get us to get those needs met. And that's like what ends up happening when we binge eat, when we're overeating. Like your body is just trying to get what it needs. This isn't anything to do with willpower or self-control. This is your body like doing its job, and it's trying to function as best it can, as best as it can. So when we are eating like consistently enough, we're not restricting our food. We are completely able to reduce food cravings and obsessions, if not eliminate them entirely. What's funny is what I'm describing, like honoring your hunger, is one piece to being what's called an intuitive eater. And so in intuitive eaters, we don't see food cravings and obsessions. We have food preferences, and we might say, oh, I could really go for that thing, but it's not going to consume me. Okay? So by honoring hunger, that's just one of the key principles to having food be a balanced part of our life, so that my brain isn't consumed with cravings, insatiable, obsessions, like constantly thinking about food. Intuitive eaters pretty much only think about food when they're hungry, for the most part. For the most part, intuitive eaters are going to think about food, think about, what they want to eat when they are hungry. And when they're not hungry, their brains are free to do whatever the heck else is meaningful to them in their life. Their brains are free to be creative and to be generous and to be thoughtful and to work hard and to be present and engaged and to be there for family and friends, right? All of the things that life is really made of are possible when we have made peace with food and our bodies. So the last piece that is so near and dear to my heart is self-trust. If I am not honoring my hunger because my meal plan or my diet says like, this is the time I'm allowed to eat, then I'm always going to be looking to that external source to tell me how to feed myself. And it is within my rights as an autonomous human being, as a fully grown person, to feed myself on my own. So if I trust myself enough to be like, oh, hunger means I need to eat, then ultimately, like, building self-trust in this one area that is food is going to allow me to trust my decisions, trust my intuition. Like, imagine if you went about your life fully being able to be confident in yourself, to trust yourself. How life-changing would that be? And it can start with food. So crazy, so good. So all of this is necessary if we want to have a healthy relationship with food and our bodies. If I want to operate around food from a place that doesn't look like intense self-control and militant vigilance, if I want freedom and unconditional peace around food, then we need all of these ingredients. And this will lead to a healthy, positive, adaptive, sustainable, functional relationship with food and a better body image than you can ever imagine, than you've probably ever experienced. So honoring your hunger is huge. And then there's two common questions around honoring your hunger. What if I'm always hungry, or what if I'm never hungry? If you're always hungry, then there's a safe bet that, there's nothing wrong with being always hungry. First of all, there's going to be a lot of things that influence our hunger, such as like activity level, how much nourishment we get in any one particular moment of eating. So if I'm always hungry, it's possible that I'm not eating enough when I am eating, or that I'm not getting enough fiber. Maybe I'm not drinking enough water. Maybe I'm not eating carbohydrates. And so it's going to feel like I'm always hungry because I'm not eating enough food. And so, there's also a fear, like, if I start eating, I won't be able to stop eating. And it might feel that way at first, but ultimately what honoring your hunger is going to do is allow you to completely self-regulate. And it's going to be very normalized over time. So you have to be willing to kind of throw yourself into the fire at first and just be like, you know what, I'm going to eat when I'm hungry. And if I'm not hungry, then I'm going to engage in what's called nourishment as self-care, which is eating, even if I'm not hungry, but because I know, like, I need to eat in this moment. So instead of going for a long period of time without eating, sometimes if there's no hunger, but I need to eat, then it's a self-care move. It's a body respect move, okay? And it's fine, that's one of the instances in which it's fine to eat when you're not hungry. In fact, like it's smart to eat when you're not hungry in that instance. And then, there are moments in which it is appropriate to eat when you're not hungry. So I don't want you to take this as like, I can only eat when I'm hungry, or I have to eat the exact moment I feel hunger. It's not like eat at the drop of a hat, drop everything, right? We want to be realistic about this. And then, so if I'm never hungry, I want you to think about what you could do to get your hunger cues back online and cultivate some attunement, some mind-body awareness. So that's something that I'll do with my clients a lot in coaching, is we have to practice. What does hunger feel like in my individual body? Okay. So anyway, in a nutshell, like I said, these are the ingredients. I've given you the secret sauce. How do I start having a healthy relationship with food and body? It starts here. Okay. I hope this was helpful for you. I'm so excited to have presented this information to you today, because it was game changing for me in healing my relationship with food. It's game changing for my clients. And so I hope it's been really helpful for you. If there's anything I can do for you, head to mariascrimenti.com, and I look forward to seeing how I can support you. Have a great day.